Okay. Okay, Key. Let's talk it through, all right? Let's talk it through. Let's talk it through. Okay, let's talk it through, all right? So today, uh, I, today, at the restaurant, this young man showed up, okay? He left, then he came back, and you said to this young man, you said to him, trading is like skydiving, right? Skydiving. So essentially, what you do is you jump out of the plane 10 times. But in one case where the parachute fails, then that's the last. Essentially, that's what's happening, right? And so trading is the same way. Trading is the same way. So if I make 10 good trades and one trade goes against me in a very, very bad way, then that one trade could essentially ruin my account. Okay, that's essentially what it's been doing for the past quite a while, right? Or past couple days. I have absorbed a serious amount of drawdown for the past couple days, and on the three accounts, because the market has been dropping for UC. UC has been dropping, and I'm thinking, okay, so I should be at support, and I've been trying to size it accordingly, but it just keeps going down, and so what it would do is it'll go up, it'll take my it'll take my trade, and then drops down, and so it essentially it essentially what it does is if it goes up, I'm thinking it's going to keep going up, and that's why I put a buy at the higher level. But what it will do is just come back down. So now let's talk it through. Let's talk it through. Okay, so let's talk this through. So while I was working today, washing dishes, I was washing dishes today. Okay, I'm gonna talk this out. All right, talk it out, man. Talk it out. Talk it out. Okay, so it might take 10 years. All right, but talk it out. Okay, this is year 5. It might take 10 years. I don't know. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I'm gonna talk it out. Okay, so today what I thought about is this. Okay, so the strategy that I have been using is essentially effective if there's a very, very strong support. Okay, then I can rely on it. I can just size in whenever it pops back and forth, because I can rely on that support. And then when it moves up to a certain point, then I can take profit. Okay, that's the strategy that I have used for the past couple weeks. Okay, so then what I realized is that what everybody else is doing is they have it's like a Plinko in the TV game show. There's a thing called Price is Right. Okay, there's a show called Price is Right, and so what the contestants do is they bid on the washing machine, and whoever gets closest to the washing machine goes up to the stage, and then sometimes there's a game called the Plinko, and you get this Plinko chip, and then you walk up to the top, and then you drop the Plinko chip, and the Plinko chip bounces off the pegs, and then lands on an area where it's like $10,000 or something per single Plinko chip. But you have to earn those Plinko chip in order to play the game. So the more Plinko chips you have, the more money that you can make. And if you're lucky enough, you can have that Plinko land on that $10,000. I think that's how it works. And so if you have 10 of them, I don't know if you can get 10. But if you get 5 or whatever it is, you got 5 times 10, which is $50,000, right? So what is happening is that what is happening with the Plinko is that there are pegs all the way from top to the bottom, and the Plinko will bounce off these pegs and land in those locations. You can't just drop it right down to the $10,000 because it'll bounce. It doesn't go directly to there. It bounces. It bounces. So then what I thought about is this. Okay, so trading is very, very similar. It's very, very similar to a Plinko game. Okay, trading is very, very similar to Plinko game because essentially what it has, the pegs represents a structure. Okay, it represents a structure defined by the type of setups it has, and then the Plinko goes in and then and lands on a particular gain, whether it's going to be a 10K or a 5K or a 1K or a blank or a loss. It could be a loss. It could be a huge loss, right? It could be a huge loss. That's how trading works. And so as a day trader, what I need to do is create an environment where I trade my A plus setup. And then that will be those pegs that I create, so that when I put my money in it, then it's gonna go and then it's gonna multiply into the 10K slot. Okay, that's the idea of trading. That's what I need to do. Okay, I thought about that today. So trading is essentially about taking my trading plan and then interchangeably put whatever the strategy it is into it, so that I could take whatever the A plus setup is and use it to make the trade. That's the whole idea. So if I were to walk through it, so what I have to do is that I have to before I get to the market, I have to identify a particular structure. And then when I see that, I'm revisiting this over and over again. When I see that particular structure, then I can identify and say, okay, so I see what's happening. I know what's going to happen. If I see this, I know what's going to happen. Okay, it's going to behave in this manner when it does this. So I'm going to make a trade based on what I see, and I'm going to put the right risk in, and then I will be able to set up the right stop loss for that particular trade. And so I'm going to have this is essentially what professional traders do. They have this so they have this win to loss ratio that they have, right? So they also have, they have a win to loss ratio, which the what is that, R to R, right? So they could have 2-to-1 R to R, right? Two, when I win, I make two. When I lose one, kind of a thing, right? So that's what they have. Okay, so that's what the professionals have. And so what I have to do is I have to do the same thing. But the requirement that I have is that I have to identify a structure that provides an A plus setup. Okay? The plan that I have, trading plan I have, the trading plan already exists. Okay? And all I have to do is repeat that trading plan, wrap around a structure that I have, okay? Trading strategy. Whatever the setup is, I identify what the setup is, and then I wrap around my trading strategy on it. It's going to be different based on the strategy, okay? If I'm trading a strong support area, it is possible for me to scale in, okay? I can scale in. But probably when a setup is a singular kind of thing, or I see it and I'm expecting it to move in a certain location for me to get out of that trade, then I'm looking for a entry and then exit based on one or two trades, most likely just a single trade. Okay, so that's the idea that I had. Okay, so what I've noticed today is that, okay, so I made these trades. I enter. As soon as I enter, I realize, hey, that's wrong. That's wrong. You're going to lose money. Get out of the trade. Okay? So I need to get out of trade. So I need to believe in myself when I make that trade. Okay? So this is year 5, and I'm still talking about this. Okay? This is year 5. Year 5. Okay? Today, I looked at it, and I can see my trade was wrong. I can see the trade is wrong, but I just allowed it to go to my stop loss. And sure enough, it went to my stop loss. I could have stopped. I could have exited the trade knowing, hey, look, it's a bad trade. I should just exit. I can just exit and cut my losses right there and then. But something was telling me that I wasn't sure. I was not sure that it was going to be behaving that way. What time is it? Okay. It's 4 o'clock right now. All right? So what I have to do is figure out what the strategy is, okay? And when I have to look at the setup, and when I see that setup, I should be able to see it. I should be able to see the setup, and I should be able to identify it. And I should be able to look at it and say, okay, this is the setup that I'm trading. And I'm going to enter here based on here. That's what I need to say. And then I need to enter, and then if it's wrong, I need to exit the trade. And I need to know what makes it wrong and what makes it right. What makes it right? What makes it wrong? Okay? Is it the price that's going against me? Is it because is that wrong? Okay, so what makes it wrong? What makes the trade wrong? And what makes the trade right? Okay? If it's red, could it possibly still be right? Okay? If it's green, could it still be possibly wrong? Okay? I mean, it's possible. So this is year 5. I'm like, it's a good thing that I'm like, the only thing that I do these days now is that I just pound the table. I'm saying to myself, Key, it's a good thing nobody's here. Okay, nobody's here. Nobody's here in the office. I'm the only one in this office right now. It's a good thing nobody's here. All right? I'm the only one here. I'm pounding the table. I'm pounding the table. I'm saying to myself, why did you make that trade, Key? Stop trading. Why did you make that trade? Okay, so I have to make this work. Okay, so it's good to have it's good to have a talk. Okay, it's good to have a talk between you and me. Okay, it's good to have a talk between me and me. Okay, it's good to have a talk. All right. It's a total disaster. It's been a total disaster for the past couple days. I mean, I was like, the first account, I was at like, all I needed was essentially about 1.5%, and I would have passed that one. The first one. The second one, I was like, all I needed was like another, all I needed was like 2.5% on the second one. Okay. On the phase 2. Okay, but now I'm like, I've dug myself into a huge hole. And the third one, I was that one, oh my God. I just needed 6% on that other one too. But I just dug myself into a serious issue right now. See, talking like this makes me hungry, right? Anyway, so, okay, so what I noticed about, so the trade that I've been taking today, what I noticed is that I took a trade without even knowing. I took a trade even though it wasn't even my setup. I don't have that much setup. I took a trade even though it's not even close to the setup that I have. Okay? There's only a few setups, and I just took it. I just took the trade even though I haven't identified that it is a setup that I can take. I just took it. I just took the trade even though it wasn't even my setup. Okay? That's a big problem. I took a setup. I took a trade, even though it's not even my setup. That's a big problem. That's like asking to lose money. It's like random. It's like take my money. That's all I'm saying. Okay? I can't do that. That's not something that I can do. I need to stop doing that. All right? One of these days, I don't know how long it's going to take. One of these I'll figure it out, but I don't know. But this is something that I had to talk to myself about, okay? Again, I don't know if I'm going to succeed in doing this, but the next 5 years, I got to do something, okay? Even if I become an extremely a great engineer, I can't get a job. Okay, I can't get a job, right? I can't. Even if I'm the best, I can't get a job because of my criminal background. I can't get a job anywhere. I can't leave the country. I could probably get a job somewhere in some other country, but I can't leave to get a job in another country. I could probably go to Canada and get a job there, right? But I can't leave United States. But I have this criminal record in the United States where it prohibits me from getting a job. Anyway, so that's the situation, okay? I had to wash dishes today, and I'm tired. I'm tired, but I gotta keep doing this. Okay, so, see, when I go online, I mean, there's a lot of people who are like profitable, right? There's a lot of people who are profitable, right? There's a lot of people who are profitable, but I'm not. I'm not profitable, but I'm still making videos here, okay? I'm probably the only one who's not profitable making YouTube videos. But I have to make these YouTube videos. I have to document it. Whatever the result is going to be, I have to document it. I have to document it. Just in case I become profitable, all right? Just in case I become profitable. It might be video 10,000, okay? It might be another 5 years from now, but I'm going to document this. I'm going to document this. But what I have to do right now is this. I have to solidly define a setup and take it, okay? So I have to define a setup in a very, very solid manner so that I can take the trade. Okay? I have to figure out what the right setup is. Once I identify the right setup, then I can take the trade. Okay? But if I take the trade without identifying what it is, I'm just asking to lose. Okay? It's simple as that. It's simple as that. If I don't identify a proper setup when I take the trade, then I'm just asking for the market to take my money. Essentially, that's what's happening. And that's what I've been doing for the past couple days. Because that's what I've been doing. Okay? So, let's get to it. Let's figure this out. Okay? Let's figure this out. Nobody's gonna okay, here's what's happening. Okay? Here's what happens. When you become profitable, you're taking money out of the market. You are essentially able to take money from the market. That's what you're doing. You have this. So what happens is this: when you become profitable, when I had to scratch my leg here. See, when you become profitable, you're able to take money out of the market. That's essentially what's happening. Okay? So, who is going to show you that? Who's going to show you how to make millions and millions of dollars? Who? Who is going to show that to you? Who? Who is that going to show you? Who's going to show you how to do that? Who? Who is going to do that? Okay? I've been studying Al Brooks, but I tell you what, I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I mean, it's like way over my head. Way over my head. I remember, what is that, like 2010? I think it was like 2010. Was it 2010? 15 years ago. I bought this I bought this course from Tim Sykes for, what is that, 250 bucks? I think I spent about 250 bucks. Okay? I probably still have passwords to go into to go through it, but I have no idea. I don't know what the heck is he talking about. But he knows what he's talking about. But I just simply don't know what he's talking about. I have no freaking idea what he's talking about, okay? All right, so I have no idea. The reason why I don't know is because I don't know. I don't know how to trade. You have to know how to trade to understand what he's talking about. You have to know what he's talking about. I have to know I have to know how to trade in order to figure out what Al Brooks is talking about. Okay, it's currently 4:30. So what I need to do is, so okay, so I figured this out. So okay. So I noticed what professionals do. They say like, okay, so I'm gonna risk 0.5% on each trade. I'm trying to solve what they're doing now. I think that's a really good way of doing it. So what they do is they risk. Let's say 0.5% is $100. Let's say it's $100. Okay, so they risk 100 to make $200, right? So they essentially, that's what they do. And so what that means, if I were to step through it, now if I step through it, so they have identified a particular setup. Okay, they identified it. And so they know to a certain degree its behavior, such that the chances of them losing $100 is smaller than the chances of making $200. Okay, so that's how it works. But sometimes what's going to happen is they're going to lose. They're going to lose. They're going to lose that $100. But chances are, statistically speaking, they're going to make that $200 more so than losing $100. So what they do is this. So they identify a setup, and then they know where the profit target is, and they set up where the stop loss is, and then they figure out where the entry should be. And so they enter at a point where they identified it, even before it was created. They figure they project it. So first of all, what they have to do is they have to create this image of this setup. They think it's the setup. It's like, what is it? Minority Report, right? The movie called The Minority Report with Tom Cruise is about a future crime. Okay, it's about future crime, and these three people predict who's going to commit crime, and usually it unfolds into a realization of a crime. Okay, and so they arrest this person before the crime occurs. Okay, it's called a Minority Report, right? And so what that means is, as a trader, I have to look at a particular situation and project it to say, hey, it's going to happen this way. I have to project. Okay, I have to project that that's what's going to happen. Okay, and then based on my projection, then I have to make stop loss. I have to put the entry, and I have to put my profit target based on that information, right? Then I keep repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating until I get to the point where I meet the profit goal that I have for that particular day, or the time runs out for that day. Okay, and I keep repeating it, and then I look for it. Oh, this is this setup. Oh, this is this setup. Oh, this is this setup. And I can take those setup, and then every time I take those setup, then I have to compute where my entry is, where my stop loss is, where my profit target is. And then sometimes what I'll do is, if maybe the trade doesn't go well, okay? Maybe it doesn't. And so when I see that it's not doing well, then maybe I need to exit the trade. There is a possibility. But that's the reason why I put like a stop loss and a profit target, and so it's set, it's there. So I could set it, and I could go to Walmart, just like what Al Brooks says. All right. So I could set it. I could just close it out and let the trade work by itself. And if I lose, then I lose. Okay. That's like an. I suppose that's very similar to like an intraday to a swing trade. It works out into intraday or swing trade. It can also work as a scalping trade as well. If I see a certain setup that I see on a particular scalping situation, I can take that trade, right? I can take that. I can take that trade if it looks like if it looks like it. I can take that trade. I can take that trade, right? I can take that trade. I can look at it as a scalping trade, but the scalping trade definitely is going to be different. I mean, it's definitely going to be different, right? It's going to be different, right? So there's no shame in talking like this. At this point, I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm telling you what, I've been doing this for 5 years. The fact that I've been doing this for 5 years and lose every penny, I cannot go down in this decrepitness. I cannot I cannot be lower. I cannot be My self-esteem cannot get any lower than this. I have literally I am at literally at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom right now, right? I could go down lower, but I'm essentially lower than anything in this world. I am the lowest of the lowest of the lowest of the lowest. I'm essentially I have become I'll tell you what, I have truly become I have I'll tell you what, I have literally become uh let's put it this way. I don't think I could go down emotionally, psychologically, physically. Uh, I don't think I could get any lower than this, but it is possible to go lower than this. But I have essentially, I have essentially have, I am like, I'm like, how do I say that? I'm like, I'll tell you what, I'm like, wow, I'm down. I'm seriously down. I'm like, I'm like I'll tell you what, I have to say that this is if I think there's something called a skid row, right? Skid row. What does skid row mean? Okay, let's look it up. Skid row. I would have to say this is skid row. What is a skid row? Let's see what a skid row is. Skid row is a term used to describe a part of the city or characterized by poverty, homelessness, and high concentration of social problems. Yep, that's me. I'm on skid row right now. I'm on skid row. I'll tell you what. I am I am essentially on skid row. Okay. I am grateful. I am grateful that I have a job uh, as a dishwasher. I am grateful that this office complex allows me to use their office. I am grateful that I have a car that runs well. I am grateful that I still have my health. I am grateful that I still have my mental faculties, although it doesn't work very well. It's not working at all. It can't figure this out. Okay. Um, I am grateful that I have one good eye. Okay. I still have one good eye that allows me to do this. Um, so I so I'm extremely grateful. I'm extremely grateful. Okay, and I'm extremely grateful that I have this opportunity to explore and figure this out. So, how do I take how do I make how do I how do I take advantage of this situation? How do I do that? How do I take advantage of this situation? How do I do this? Okay, how do I figure this out? Okay? How do I figure this out? So it's very, very simple. I thought about this as I was washing dishes once a week. Okay, today is the I mean yesterday. Okay, yesterday was the day that I washed dishes. So as I was washing dishes, I realized, okay, so it's trading is very, very simple. Okay, it's very, very simple. All I have to do is identify a particular setup. That's it. I identify a particular setup, then I identify where the entry point is, and then I identify what my stop loss is, and I identify where the profit target is, and I just simply just make that trade. That's it. That's all I have to do. All I have to do, first of all, is what is the setup? Obviously, obviously the obviously the setup has not is not fully realized, obviously, right? It's a minority report. The setup is not fully formed. Okay? That's why people are trying to pick the bottom, right? So the setup for a major trend reversal is simple. It's a trend reversal, but people keep searching for it. They enter and think, okay, it's a bottom, and then it drops. They lose. I lose. Okay, that's what I lose. And then it goes up a little bit. Oh, it's the bottom. I go in and it drops again. Okay, so what are the things that are allowing me to convert that and say, okay, that that is a high probability. That is an A plus chance. That is a major trend reversal. And until something is shown, I can't be taking that. Okay, I cannot be taking that. Otherwise, it's going to be pure luck. Okay, it's going to be pure luck when I take that trade. When I take that trade, and it turns out it turns out to be bottom. It's just pure luck. Okay, unless I have something that tells me, hey, okay, so when it does this, okay, so what things will allow me to make that determination? Okay, so what is it going to show me? What do I need to see when I say that? When I obviously hindsight is 2020, right? Hindsight is 2020. I can see it on hindsight. On hindsight, the full setup is revealed and is 100% correct because it's already realized. But so what is it going to? So how do I? So when I see it, it's not going to be fully formed. I have to mentally say to myself, look, it looks like a good trade, but it could immediately turn into something else. These are the things that my brain has to figure this out. My brain has to calculate it. So when I initially look at it, it looks like, oh, it looks like this, but it may not be that. It could transform into something else. And so when it transforms into something else, that is completely opposite. I need to exit the trade. Okay, it's something else. It's not something that I thought it was. It's something else, and I need to exit the trade. So these are things that I need to. These are things that I need to be aware of. And I obviously, on a Monday, after a couple of days of doing something else, it's difficult to get back into the game. Like watching a lot of YouTube videos with these people who are eating uh, they have what do they call it? They have what do they call they call it? So they put a bunch of food in front of them and they start eating, right? It's right. So if I were to spend like Saturdays and Sundays while the market is closed and watching these people stuff themselves, right? What do they call it? It's called it's called mukbang, right? Eating room. I think the translation is called eating room, and they do that. Like, there's quite a few people, and you can if you're when I'm hungry, I watch them, right? So now after 5 years, after 5 years, I figured out what I need to do. Okay, so what do I need to do? Okay, what do I need to do? It's very, very simple. It's very, very, after 5 years of losing money and losing all these challenges, and now for the past couple days, I'm still making these rookie mistakes. Rookie mistakes because I don't have my plan right. I don't have my Plinko post set up. I don't have the Plinko enabled so that I can repeat and rinse. Okay. So I need to have that. So I need to have it so that I don't look at myself and say, "Hey, why are you making these trades? You stupid guy. Why?" I called myself Mr. Stupid, all right? Because at this stage, I'll tell you what. At this stage, it doesn't matter. At this stage, I've been doing this for 5 years. And I like it. So I thought to myself, look, if I figure this out, I thought about this today. Yesterday, the first trading day starts on a Sunday, and then it rolls into Monday. Okay, then I started losing, and I'm thinking to myself, there's this principle called if somebody who is clueless figures out something, it means that everybody knows. So it's like the it's like in the Appalachian boondocks in the mountains, and one of your relatives calls you up in the boondocks in the hillbilly country and says, "Look, it's time to buy Bitcoin." What that means is it's time to sell. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, what time is it? So what that means is I am one of those people. Okay, I'm one of those people. If I say that I figured out how to trade, it means that probably everybody knows how to trade. That's what it means. Essentially, what that means is if I know how to trade, chances are everybody else knows how to trade. That's what it means. That's precisely what it means. If I can figure it out, most likely other people have already figured it out. Everybody knows about it. Okay? That's what's happening. That's the degree of deficiency that I have, and I know it. I know how deficient I am, but I'm still going through it. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay? So trading is very, very simple. Okay? Trading is very, very simple. All I have to do is identify something that looks like it's going to be, and then hopefully it's correct. Okay? Hopefully it's correct. And it forms into the setup that I thought is going to be. But it could change. It could immediately change. And so the stop loss is going to remedy that situation, allow me to exit the trade without incurring a heavy loss. But if it goes in my, it turns out to be the setup that I have in mind, then chances are I will prevail. I will gain in that trade, and it is possible for me to add to that trade and make the trade a little bit better, right? And so that's what I need to do. I need to do that. I haven't done that for the past 5 years. I'm like very lazy. I've been very, very lazy because what the market will do is I'll just do something random and it still works, and I get paid for that. And so what it will do is it delays the proper way of trading. Okay? And it's a continuous cycle. It happens over and over again because what I do is I'm satisfied with the momentary gain that I have that the market gives me, because it brainwashes me into thinking that whatever I have is equipped to properly take money out of the market. But essentially what's happening is this. So there's this guy Mike Bellafiore of S&P Capital, and he said this. He says, if you are a high-level athlete, chances are you have an advantage in understanding how to trade the market. And I thought about why did he say that? And I thought to myself, okay, so it makes sense. It makes sense because what what it's essentially is doing, the process of learning is taking a regular person into a highly competent individual who is able to take money out of the market because that person has been transformed into someone who is capable of taking money out of the market. That's essentially what's happening. Okay? In order to do that, in order to do that, the minutia of details has to be modified in order to make that transition. For instance, for instance, I thought to myself, okay, so today I thought to myself, okay, so how does somebody do that? All right. So a person has to make small little incremental changes in order to elevate the person into an elite status. In order for the person to be in elite status, a person has to do a particular thing quite different than the person who's a regular person. Okay? Right? So I thought about this. And one thing that an elite person is going to do is that, statistically speaking, even if there's an A plus setup, it is possible to lose on a trade. So on a losing trade, a person has to be aware of it and be self-conscious of the self and make the right decision and stop trading. Okay? That that small bit of change has to occur, but it cannot happen like overnight. It happens by creating a behavior in me. There has to be a behavioral change that allows me to make that small bit of change. So some people talk about, okay, so if I lose 2%, I stop. But I couldn't do that because when I make these trades, I'm like, uh, I will go towards like 5%, almost to 5% before I stop. And so what I can do, what I need to do, be able to do, is be able to create this solid behavioral change, little by little, to get to the point where I am an elite trader. In order to become an elite trader, I have to make these small bit of changes in my trading repertoire, so that every time that I'm like in front of the market, then I'm able to make the right trades. I'm able to properly I'm properly able to take care of the market and make money. Okay, so that's the idea, right? So trading is simple. Okay, trading is simple. I'm glad I had a talk with you. I'm glad you and I had this conversation. Okay, I'm glad. I'm see. The only time I have this type of conversation is when I'm losing. When I'm winning, I'm on like cloud nine. Okay, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I'm too busy thinking that I have solved everything, and so there's no time for us to talk, because the ego will get in there and then interfere in a conversation like this. But I'm glad that I had this conversation with you. I don't know if this is going to be useful, but let's see if what I need to do in the future as of today. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Okay, as of today. Okay, so here's from this day forward. Here's what I need. What I'm going to do. I'm going to uh, what I'm going to record my trades, and when I record my trades, I'm going to identify the trade that I'm taking, and I'm going to set my stop loss and profit taking. And I'm going to keep doing that on a religious basis. Okay, I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep doing that, and I'm going to keep doing that uh, until I become extremely efficient in the way that I'm doing. Okay, and I may keep doing it, but that's the plan that I have. So the idea is for me to make the trade the right way. Okay, each and every time, and I may record it and post it or whatever it is. So that's the plan that I have, okay? So if I can't identify it, then there's no reason for me to take it, right? So that's what I need to do. I pray that I do that, okay? I pray. Hopefully I do that. Hopefully.